They say that seeing is believing, but what happens when you can't believe what you see? Here are the top 10 optical illusions that will blow your mind. Number 10. Kinesia Triangle. The Kinesia Triangle. It appears that there are 3 circles and 2 triangles in this optical illusion. However, there are actually merely incomplete lines. The law of closure, one of the laws of perceptual organization, states that when objects are grouped together, we tend to perceive them as a whole. As a result, when faced with this optical illusion, our brains attempt to make the image cohesive by closing the gaps and creating triangles. This optical illusion was first discovered by Italian psychologist Gaetano Kinesia in 1955. Number 9. Hermann grid illusion. Hermann grid deception. This illusion deceives you into thinking that the white dots at the intersection of the squares are changing color as you stare at it. The dots appear to turn from white to dark gray. It was first observed in 1870 and named after the physiologist Luc de Mere Hermann. It illustrates a phenomenon called lateral inhibition. There are no gray dots, all of the dots are white. We simply sense a color change in them. As a result, we are actually seeing something that isn't even there. Number 8. Poggendorff Illusion. The delusion of Poggendorff. The black line on the right appears to connect to the red line in this illusion, while the blue line on the left appears to line up with the black line. However, the lines in both images are identical and are connected in exactly the same way. The only difference is that the rectangle on the left is a darker shade and obscures some of the lines. Named for Johann Poggendorff, who discovered this optical illusion in 1860. Although his optical illusion has never truly been fully described, no one knows exactly how it works or why we think the 2 lines are connected differently, and they are not. He utilized this illusion to try to describe how our brains perceive depth. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 7. Ponzo Illusion. The Ponzo Illusion is a well-known optical trick where 2 lines that are the same length appear to be different lengths. It looks like the Q closer is shorter than the Q farther away. The illusion is named after Italian psychologist Mario Ponzo because he first presented it in 1913. It is based on a concept known as linear perspective. We assumed that the top line would need to be longer if it were further away to be the same length as something closer in reality, even if the lines are the same length, because the vertical lines get closer as they travel away, which signals to our brains that the top line is further away. Number 6. Lielock Chaser. The pursuit of lies, the negative retinal afterimage, is what causes this bizarre optical illusion, also known as the Pac-Man illusion, to appear. To see it, you must focus on the black cross in the center of the circle for about 20 seconds. After that time, you will begin to see a green circle moving through the lilac. However, as soon as you move your eyes, you will once again see the lilac circles. Our brains combine the images of the circles until we can only make out the green dot traveling around it. The lilac dots are still present, but our brains have chosen not to register them. Number 5. My wife and my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law, my wife, and I. Although there are other optical illusions where 2 different pictures or images can be seen, my wife and my mother-in-law actually reveals something about the viewers. Either see an old woman, the mother-in-law, or a young woman facing towards the back, the wife. But researchers in Australia wanted to learn more about this optical illusion. This optical illusion was drawn by British cartoonist William Ely Hill in 1915. It has since become one of the most famous optical illusions of all time. Participants found it difficult to see the alternate image because the image they initially saw was the dominant image, suggesting that our perception may be somewhat influenced by our age. Participants on the younger end of the age range saw the wife, while participants on the older end saw the mother-in-law. Number 4. The Curvature blindness illusion. The illusion of curvature blindness. Like most optical illusions, you are seeing something that isn't really there. In reality, all of the lines in the image are simply curvy, and the lines in the gray area are the same as the lines in the white area. This relatively new optical illusion was discovered in 2017 by experimental psychologists Coastgate and Nakahoshi in Japan. The lines in the white area and the black area appear wavy or curvy, but to most people the lines in the gray area appear both wavy and zigzag. Takahashi contends that when we see this illusion, our brains are at odds with one another. He argues that because we encounter more corners than natural curves in daily life, our brains are more accustomed to seeing corners than curves. As a result, when we look at this image, we are essentially forcing the curvy lines to become zigzag by forcing our brains to see corners. Number 3. The Ames Room Illusion. This astounding illusion is the Ames Room Illusion. The illusion is named after the Ames Room in the Villette Science Museum in Paris, where the photo was taken and then shared on social media. However, the illusion has nothing to do with the people in the picture, rather, it has to do with the size and shape of the room. The room appears to be square-shaped, and the two people are standing there, but they are actually quite similar in size. So the man in the picture is standing much further back in the room than the woman is. This is a useful optical illusion and it is frequently used in movies. In fact, this very illusion is used in early scenes of The Fellowship of the Rings to give the impression that Gandalf is much larger than the hobbits they are in the same room with. However, it is only an optical illusion. Number 2. The Impossible Trident. The Impossible Trident, also known as the Devil's Fork or the Impossible Fork, is an optical illusion that at first glance appears to have 3 prongs that connect into 2 at one end. However, the more you look at it, the more impossible it appears to be. If you stare at the lines for a long enough period of time, the lines become disorienting. The Impossible Trident relies on our brain's urge to reconstruct 3-dimensional images. We are attempting to transform the 2-dimensional graphic into a 3-dimensional structure. But this is an impossible task, and the more we attempt to do so, the more perplexing the image gets. Number 1. Nios Extinction Illusion. Nios Fantasy of Extinction. If you've seen this image on social media before, you're not alone. The Nios Extinction Illusion has gained popularity as people try to figure out how many black dots there are in the image. The image is made up of a grid of vertical, horizontal, and diagonal lines. There are 12 black dots at various intersections in the picture. However, your brain won't let you see all 12 black dots at once, making it nearly impossible to look at the image. Although neurologists are unsure of the exact cause of why we can't see all the dots in this image, one theory suggests that we have more neurons at the center of our vision than in our peripheral vision. The black dot is solid when we look directly at it, but it becomes invisible in our peripheral, which is why the dots are constantly appearing and disappearing depending on where we look, which is why Nios Extinction Illusion has earned the top spot on this list of top 10 optical illusions that will blow your mind. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from Tech Cargo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.